Okay.
Okay. All right. So, good morning, everyone. I am Nataraja is speaking with Miss Mechanism, and so we're gonna reconnect a little bit and drop in. There's been a lot of changes and updates and things happening with Mecca's new CD project. So, first, we're gonna be talking about what's going on with Mecca and getting an update because everyone wants to know what's going on and her more magical world of music. And then we're going to be talking about some exciting things that we're doing with the podcast over the next couple of months as we're moving through this whole process of becoming higher versions of ourselves. So, Miss Mechanism, so can you tell us what's going on? So you just finished the Grammys, right? That
The Grammys just aired. Did not attend in person this year,
right.
but it was still, the Florida chapter was still, in attendance cheering on. There was a lot of really cool activities throughout the week, just like we would have had in LA or that I would have been able to attend. So I attended virtually. One of them was Women in the Mix. I think that was my favorite series, is because um, women only make up about 2.6% of the engineers and producers of albums. So it's a
Okay.
very low percentage. I think we're really taking the time to spotlight women in front of and behind the board, the recording board. So really important. So one of the things that I get to support and serve as a governor for the Florida chapter for the Recording Academy is really encourage diversity and showing up. There's a lot of really great people in the music community
Mhm.
that don't know that they can get involved, legitimate lifelong musicians, professionals, award winning, serious rock stars for real, that don't know that they can get involved and make a difference. So one thing that I have noticed is that people, the main conversation is that there isn't representation for maybe rock and metal, which is something dear to my heart, and that I am trying to build that community up. But we're the rebels, so sometimes we don't think that the award ceremonies are important, but it's more than the award ceremonies. And if we are going to have a snapshot of our music community be the Grammy Awards, then we need to show up for it. And it really is our responsibility. And I, can vouch for the fact that they are trying to engage the rock and metal community as a
Awesome.
specific diversity point. So it's really just about us, taking that opportunity to get involved and make a difference. I know that Van Halen had passed away last year, so they had invited Wolf, his son, to perform in the memorial time for the artists. But I think he was reflecting on how he declined because the Grammys hasn't been showing a lot of rock and metal. But then there was no one to replace him because he was the only person that was suitable to take
Oh,
that
I
role.
love that. Let's talk about like diversity in a very different way and being inclusive in every single way. I love
Really, in every
uh-huh.
single way.
Uh-huh.
This is a new era. There's a whole in the Grammys is a cool way to see what's happening in the world, because that's, my world is music and spirituality, but in music there is now a head of diversity. Valicia Butterfield Jones is the diversity manager. I forget her actual title. I should look it up. But Valicia is a badass,
Mhm.
bringing focus on all these different diversity points
I
to
love
the
that. That's
Recording Academy.
awesome.
And like that is now a head position of staff at the Grammy Awards and the Recording Academy. So how else can we? Because we're going to be introducing our New Earth series, that we're
Right?
starting to bring in. What? How can we diversify the perspectives that show up in different arenas? And in this golden age of Aquarius that we are now in,
Mhm.
equality and individual powers and peace and compassion are some of the key words.
Mhm.
So I think we're clearing out a whole lot of
And look
things.
at you, girl. You're like holding two different, like, as far as like even like looking at diversity and inclusion in the music world in itself, is the rock and metal on one hand, and then um the
Healing.
healing and ceremonial like work and that, and then trying to be able to forge a way in music for the rock and metal, and also for healers who are in healing through music. Look at you,
I got
girl.
chills. I got chills. And I notice a trend. A lot of people don't watch the premiere ceremony, which happens during the day before. There's two ceremonies because there's 84 Grammy categories, and they only show like 10 of them on the CBS section of the show because it's like the main rock stars, the main categories. But if you watched all of the categories, um, one category in particular, because there's a new age category and it's awesome, and there's a lot of diversity there, and some of the world categories are expanding. We did get a first Korean band nominated for an award with BTS, which is a K-pop band, but and they performed. I think they had just the most energetic, exciting performance, one of the best of the Grammy Awards. Of course, there were a lot of really good ones, but once again, that pre-show, that premiere, there was a female metal performer named Poppy who performed. There was an incredible Latin artist who I didn't actually catch her name, so everybody needs to go back and watch that because it was so compelling.
Mm.
And there was also this, even the kids category. The kids category has been medicine focused.
Oh,
This,
interesting.
yes, the kids category, the past 2 years is what I've really noticed. Last year was John Samson, and he was talking about his children's album was really for the kids and us as inner child work and healing work. So he's from New York, very cool. Another artist, gosh, I wish I wrote down the names. I didn't know we were going to talk about Grammy stuff. The other artist that won this year was about empowering women through the kids' albums. So
Oh,
we will look
wow.
that up. So hopefully this will get people to look stuff up since I don't have all the information ready. Um, so yes, I you can see it as a microcosm of what's happening in the world, but it's showing up, the medicine work showing up in like the kids category always gives me joy.
Mm.
Um, and I can't wait with what we do because I want to do spoken word. I want to do, um, obviously new age, and even what I believe in is dance. Like I'm
Mhm.
not typically an electronica dance EDM person, but I think associating music with movement and in those trance spaces are one of the best opportunities to incorporate more medicine work
Oh, I
because
love
it
that.
goes along with
Yeah.
even the drum beat
Mhm.
being consistent.
Mhm.
And I was always like, oh, it's not interesting enough, my little punk rock rebellious side. And then I was like, oh, wait, that is the secret to your brain releasing its old programming
Right.
and being open to receiving medicine. So
Mhm.
we can investigate and utilize how people are using that and use it ourselves as
And then
we.
that's part of, that's gonna be incorporated in your new CD, heavily,
Yes,
right?
without a doubt.
And
Without a doubt.
so for everyone's just curious to know what's going on with, Mecca's new album, the Heart Healing album. So what's going on? You're headed to, California, and
Yes.
you're gonna be doing some more recording for, is it for, your Heart Healing CD? Okay.
Yes, and the funny thing is the whole Heart Healing album is a discovery process, and that's why
Right.
we have Ascended Heart Navigators to begin with, though we're expanding what that even means. It is a discovery. It is, figuring out what it means to have a heart healing album.
Right.
The initial section that this is falling in, the songs going back to Apex Art Studios in North Hollywood, California. Shauna and her team are enthusiastic, they're high frequency, which is really important. And they even keep the studio. Shauna started that studio for a safe and high frequency place for her kids to operate in. So there's not drugs and alcohol around. it is a place for high frequency creation, and
Mm,
everyone who
love that.
steps into that space,
Uh-huh.
um, you can feel it and they know it. And like people that aren't high frequency don't relate to that, and people who are like gravitate to it.
That's
So
awesome.
even working in the spaces of high frequency means a lot. So Shauna, um, just is always bringing the best people together. I get to work with these incredible people, um, and make music videos and recordings. So we're making a music video.
Okay.
We're going to be collaborating with Michael Kenobi is going to help direct it. I know he's probably just going to design everything, direct all this part of it, because he's in charge of like the video side of the studio.
Okay.
Um, Chris Villain is going to be part of it. I know he's doing a lot of different videos too. Dom and Austin, Dom, man, he is. Oh, we will talk Dom Castro. Anyway, so the Heart Healing album is going to have 4 sections.
Okay.
So there's going to be different forms of healing. The
Okay.
first section is going to be like the old stories, bringing things to light. So it's like acknowledging where we are in this transition.
Okay.
So it is like, what do we have to heal? It's like
Okay.
putting it on here. What do we have to heal? What are we looking at? What are we
Okay.
working with? So
Okay.
those are the old stories,
Okay.
like the old folklore, the old traumas, the ancestral trauma, acknowledging it, putting it in the light, okay, and seeing who we are. The second section is that trance beat. It's utilizing inspiring music. It is the clearing ceremony. It is a ceremony. We're going to go full channeling ceremony for the second
Okay.
section. That's going to relate to the blackening, which I will refresh everyone about as well,
Okay.
because we got some news about that. The third section is going to be the recharge and
Okay.
refresh, the resetting for new earth. So be working with the chakras and like literally work with the frequencies of the notes that relate to the chakras in their perfect alignment, like the A being 432 hertz. And
Mm-hmm.
we're going to do a recharge, right?
Mm-hmm.
And incorporate poetry, um, of like guiding. It's going to be very, as abstract as it's going to be, it's also going to be something people can follow and connect to and feel safe in. The fourth section is fairy tales for 5D, the new stories, the stories we
Oh,
want to tell for the future,
snap.
the stories we want
Dang.
to develop.
So good.
So, so
Love it.
yes. So what really quick, remember the blackening that we did on Black Friday?
Uh-huh.
So you came up with this great idea, Miss Nataraja, to do a grieving and global trauma ceremony on Black Friday called the Blackening.
Right.
And our friend Brittany actually filmed that.
Mm.
And so we have some things to share soon. We'll have some snippets up soon on Ascended Heart Navigators
Hey,
on
Brittany, that was
Instagram and
awesome.
YouTube,
Yes.
Facebook, and the website, ascendedheartnavigators.com. So we'll have them up in pieces to tell this story of ancestral grieving, even past lives, DNA, this life, everything, all the trauma that needs to be purged. You created the blacking ink, so we got to create a whole moment of capturing that genuine connection
Mhm.
in that moment of extreme healing.
And that's
So
awesome. That's gonna be
it's gonna
incorporated
come.
into the that's perfect. I mean, it wasn't planned that way at all. We were just going through the what we both intuitively felt
Right,
was needed as part of the ascension of humanity is letting
without a
go
doubt.
of all the old paradigms and moving into something new. And that's awesome that it's somehow it's like being like you said, this is all part of the creative process of your album. And
And
the
discovery. Yeah.
yeah, that's amazing because it was that the blackening was never intended. It was just us working through global trauma together as a small group of people who were stepping into that space. But beautiful that it's becoming part of your CD. That's
Yeah,
amazing.
because I mean, the whole, I think you and I coming together as the Ascended Heart Navigators is this whole opportunity of, um, the discovery of what needs to be healed and how we can do it. So
Right.
I think that's a conversation, which introduces the fact that we have a new Earth series is our new focus.
Right.
Because we're here, we're in 5D. It's the
Uh,
age of Aquarius. What do we want to create with
right.
this new world?
Mm.
This new Earth, we'll call it, because we're in not being what's told to us by the media, but what we want to create
Mhm.
inside out. So
Right.
what's calling
And
in
so
our
when
hearts, in our
and so when
communities.
Mecca is using reset, this is very, very different from the World Economic Forum using a whole global reset, as they're seeing it as an opportunity for increasing global power and hegemony, um, controlling the monetary system, controlling the human. Um, uh, but for those who are seeing what's happening from a different, higher perspective of what's happening in the spirit realm, um, there is a reset, but it ain't gonna look like what they think it's gonna look like. They're like, "Oh, we're gonna call it a reset," but it's like, mm-mm. That means a reset actually is, and with it coming from the perspective of the spirit realm and what's happening with the light beings, what's happening with our galactic helpers, what's happening in the process of human consciousness and ascension. The reset is everything that's old, all of our old ways of being, living, our old systems are completely and totally crumbling,
Without a
and
doubt.
there is going to be a reset. And the age of Aquarius, we were actually living very differently in harmony with one another and unification with all life, all
Yes.
plant life, animal life. We're going to be living differently, consuming food differently,
Yes.
producing things differently, um, uh, educating I'm going to educating our children differently, living in
Differently.
communities differently. Everything is going to be set. There's going to be a reset, but it's going to look very different. So
Yeah.
this is
It's
part
not what you
of
see on
the,
TV.
I know, I'm so excited to have these conversations. So Mecca
Yeah.
and I have been like talking about this for a while, and we've been heavily like in this whole like ascension process as we started the Ascended Heart Navigators. um and what excites me is having the conversations of, let's just stop let's just stop even thinking about the old stuff. I'm like, I don't even want to like, I don't even want to be in practice of an old paradigm. I want to be in conversations in the creation of a completely new paradigm
Yeah.
and new ways of seeing things. And so Mecca and I started a New Earth series talk. Um and it's going to be a series of really awesome discussions, and we're going to be just, we had already one conversation about play and playfulness,
With
movement
Shane.
in the body with Tara Shea. She's a yoga teacher also, and a healer of sorts, and a professional a dancer. And so she's we've already began these discussions with Tara Shea. We're having another one coming up. We're going to be doing a flash mob thing in a couple of days with her. It's gonna be fun to do.
Please film a few
I
moments
I'm
of that. We
feeling
can get
it's gonna
working.
I'm gonna film it. It's gonna be so good. Flash mobbing, very, very neoliberal, um, liberal slash conservative. I mean, they're like liberal.
Together.
Ashland
Yeah.
and Ashland is like progressive, but they're completely in shutdown, and massive fear. So there's gonna be some flash mobbing, dance, fun stuff. Um, and
Just to
then
get people out of fear. I think that's the secret. It's not political party.
no,
It's
not at
getting people
all.
out of fear. You know?
And it's a consciousness, and we're looking at the moving of consciousness. Just to recap for people who are just jumping into this conversation, um it is a consciousness of fear, manipulation, greed, power, control. This is a consciousness that's been ruling humanity um for thousands of years, and
Right.
with war, conflict, genocide, um completely controlling and manipulating systems to have people in slavery of sorts
Right.
for thousands of years. And now we're breaking free of all that shit. and I'm going to use the
Yes.
word because it's going out. And so we're having, get it out. So we're having these conversations, which I'm super excited about. Um, we're going to be talking to some people about new financial systems and how we can
Yes.
start doing things. And so that's going to be part of our New Earth series: finance, education,
Education. Yeah.
community, how we live, different kinds of roles that we're acknowledging in people who are the healers, the player, the people who are bringing play, the people who are bringing healing, and their proper place in a new system. So we're having this whole series of New Earth talks and discussions, which I'm really excited about.
So cool.
And I'm happy. I'm so excited that this is going to be woven into your CD, and looking at it from this progression of the old, the deep shadow stuff to the new.
Right.
So
Like
excited
four
about
chambers of
that.
the heart. It's like, how does blood move through the heart? You
Right,
know?
right.
And I got chills. You just said all that, and I just got a wave, a rush of chills of truth, sister, chills of truth. So yeah, that's what we're figuring out. Like I know that it's all like figuring out an album, but to me, it's like I have to discover through what healing work we do,
Uh-huh.
what I can and do and what we want to do to put it in. So we have a couple, to continue the Cox of Terre. Hei Jung Cook is one of my best friends from high school, but she is a poet.
Mhm.
And in her poetry, and she's also a pianist, but in her poetry, as she's recently been included in Asian American journals that focus on poetry as spell work. So the magic of
Oh, I
words
love
and
that.
how it's been used throughout history. When she was in Korea, she even had some exposure to Korean shamanism, and she's been feeling the awakening of her inner shaman a lot. So Hei Jung Kook is just a stellar musician. Um, but and she's Harvard valedictorian and NYU. She even taught at NYU, taught poetry professor at one
Oh,
point.
that's exciting. And so
Yeah,
she's gonna be our next
yes,
interviewee with the Cinder Heart Navigators, who's part of your
same project.
your CD project that was going to be. And then we're also going to be talking at some point, I think, with Brittany, who did the filming, right?
Yes,
Uh,
without a doubt.
so, and then we're going to be doing some interviews with some of the peeps from the Apex Studio, and as
While
you're
I'm in,
there. So it's going to be a lot of, I'm excited to see this gaining more momentum. And I feel like it's going to be
without a doubt.
gaining more and more momentum over the next few months.
Oh heck yeah, we're doing
We're
it.
doing it. It's been woo. The humanity has been going through a ride, yo. Um,
Truly.
but this is we're going to be seeing some massive changes in humanity, um, and also with your work, and I'm so excited to see. And we will be updating, and keep listening. Find us on YouTube. Find us on Spotify, our Heart Radio. Um, where else are we on? Spotify, iTunes. We're also on Facebook and Instagram, and Mecca is all about the social media. She's the musician
We're
queen,
a
the healer
team.
queen.
We just keep it
We just
cycling and spread the word together. Because
yeah.
I am incomplete without you of getting
And
that
I'm
social media.
incomplete without you. This is so good.
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited to talk more with you, Mecca,
See,
and all the exciting conversations that we're going to be having over the next few months.
this is perfect.
It's
It's
gonna
gonna
be
be
perfect. Yeah.
great. And everyone enjoy the ride. We're on a great journey together.
We are. All right, my lady. I am going to sign off, and we will be talking to you soon.
Looking forward to it.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.